welcome to the Sid City Social Club meeting for Friday, September 18th.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another Friday. My brother's here today, Tom, and I'd love you all to meet him. He's got terrible internet, so he'll look really blurry. Tom, are you around? Can you say hi?
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
How you doing?
There you are.
Does that work?
Tom. Yes, it's the white
Amazing.
me. He's the white me.
That's right. I'm next to all the family photos, by the way, so this could get embarrassing. I won't. I promise. I won't.
No, I've been showing them some photos, so everyone's kind of up to speed, but not the really cool ones up there. All the extended family. What's the weather like? What's it like out? Because it's probably nighttime now.
Good. It is getting dark early these days. It sucks, but it's beautiful. Blue skies every day. It's wonderful in West Sussex at the moment. We're having a proper Indian summer, as everybody has wished for the last couple of years. It's fantastic.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's really cool. I'm jealous. How are the kids?
Yeah, you'll make it back. You'll make it back. They're
will.
really good. God, my God, they're like properly testing right now. Pushing everybody's buttons. It's insane. It's so much fun to watch. It's amazing. It's incredible. I mean, the best time.
Well, hang around if you want to. Feel free to leave if you can't handle it. We're going to press on with saying hi to a few people. And the first thing I want to do is say happy birthday for Monday for Suleika, who couldn't be here. I know that she's around now. Are you in Switzerland, Suleika?
Hi, Sid. No, I'm in Rotterdam right now.
You're in Rotterdam, and Deep, your brother, is in Switzerland.
Yeah.
That's it. I got it right.
Yeah.
Well, can everybody come off mute just to say happy birthday? Because it's lovely when the whole world says happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Suleika.
Happy
Feliz cumpleaños a todos.
I love it.
Thank you so much, everybody. It was a regular day. Kids went to school. My husband went to his job because he is allowed to go back to the office. And I was actually working. I had a meeting at 5 o'clock. So we had a late dinner. And what really was a bummer was that my mom couldn't come. My mom actually lives a street away. But because of COVID, she couldn't come by.
Because
So,
it's all taken off again, hasn't it? It's all become really complicated in Europe. Is that
it has.
in Rotterdam?
Yes, it has. Actually, we had a press conference today by our Prime Minister that six metropolitan areas are actually going to have extra measures are going to be taken because of the increase in numbers right now. And the 6 metropolitan areas that have been chosen are basically student cities, so where colleges are, universities are. So Rotterdam, with the Erasmus University, is one of the areas. So we have a code red actually right now.
And what does that mean? What's going to happen? You back to where you were back in April?
No, thank heavens, no. No, people that were allowed to attend meetings, the number was up to 100. That has been reduced to 50.
Okay.
And the bars, etc., establishments have to close their doors at 12 o'clock now. So that means lights on, everybody has to leave. By 1 o'clock, they really have to be closed. And it doesn't matter if it's a weekday or if it's weekend. They're hoping to contain this second wave this way. The Prime Minister stressed that he hopes that everybody will have the common sense to step back a little, to be more aware, more cautious the way they were. But that if the increase at the rate that it's going right now, if it continues, we probably might have to go back to the way we were in April.
Ouch.
What they also announced today is that children up to the age of 13 who have symptoms don't have to be tested unless they have been in direct contact with someone known to have COVID.
Right. Okay. All right. I understand. And what is it? How's your family? I know Deep looks fine. He looks pretty good over there in Switzerland. But how are the rest of your family doing?
The rest of our family is okay. Thank heavens for that. So that's why my mom stayed away. She has diabetes, so she has to be. She's in this.
Yeah.
She's in that age category. She has diabetes, so we just we drive by and we wave at her and we just and talk with distance from her doorstep.
Yeah.
You know.
Especially that your husband's going back to work, it makes it a little bit more risky. So I completely understand. Is his job? Did you remind me what his work was? I don't know if you ever told me, but
no, actually, he is a virologist.
He's a virologist too.
He is a virologist.
Oh my goodness!
And
so he gives you the real information.
He is. He's my go-to guy.
Is he there?
Actually, he is downstairs.
Don't worry. He's probably doing something viral. So let's let him keep doing the viral stuff. It's probably more important than coming on here.
Well, he works for actually one of the companies that is testing the medication for the Dutch market.
Could you ask him to come on one day and give us some info? Just help us see the truth of all the half-truths that we're being told, especially in America, where we're not told the absolute truth all the time. At least that's what I think.
No, of course, and no problem. He will be more than happy to give out the information.
Yeah, that would be great. Just the black and white. Nothing, doesn't have to do anything clever, special. Just that. We've heard recently that from the head of the CDC, which is the Centers for Disease Control in America, which is I guess they run the show when it comes to pandemics and epidemics. And he said that the soonest that you can expect in America to get a vaccine, no matter what time it comes out, will be the sort of June next year, June 2021. And of course, the president went crazy and was like, "That's not true," but I think it is. So I'm just curious to hear his take, because even if they do miraculously come up with a vaccine in November, it'll take a long time for it to roll out to 370 million people, or however many we have in the States right now.
Yeah, he can really get into the finer details of that. And as far as there being a vaccine later on next year, I work for Siddig Netherlands, and we all have already been told that we won't be able to go to our offices until the beginning of next year because of the situation right now. But we've been told that, there's no need to come to the office anytime soon. So don't expect to come to the office until spring 2021.
Right. So tell me, Suleika, what would you like to do for your next birthday that you didn't get to do this year? What would be the ideal birthday?
My ideal birthday would be to have my mom, Deep, Ratna, and their kids all together and have a good home-cooked meal.
Inshallah. If that happens, that would be wonderful. That would be just fantastic. Well, okay, a group wish for you that happens. Maybe even before next year, but
Thank you. And in a way, so you and Mel and everyone has still made it a special birthday, right? Because we were also really bummed out that we couldn't go and see Suleika, especially with Alicia, with her baby. But
of course.
But
thank you guys. How are you, baby? How's your baby?
Yeah, he's.
Oh, yeah.
She's fine.
She's
and the 3-year-old broke his arm 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So,
how did you do that? How did
he jumped on this sofa, and his arm just twisted in a very weird angle, and then he was like, "Mom, ow!"
Crying.
Yeah.
Really,
so
painful.
So,
how are you guys both doing?
Yeah, we're okay.
We're okay. We're okay. We're still quite isolated, and but it's everything's going fine.
Yeah.
Is it noticeably? Is there a noticeable new surge in Switzerland as well?
Yeah.
Yeah,
there is.
definitely. Yeah.
So it's not really going in the right direction
No.
case-wise.
Yeah.
So
We
It's
can't
very
notice
good.
in the States. We can't notice a surge because it's all so high already. That it just doesn't
Yeah,
seem
yeah.
can't get higher.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
can
And where we
happen.
live, it's semi-rural, so
Yeah,
you
you
don't
can
really
just
notice it.
Yeah,
Well, we don't really notice it around us,
around
right?
us.
So, Suleika, do you get to FaceTime or a Skype with these kids over here in Switzerland?
Yes, I do. Well, if they want to come into view, that is, and if they're not too busy playing, or if one doesn't decide to start screaming for attention and Ratna has to hang up within a minute that I called. So we have some screen time together. So that's nice. But the most painful part is that my mom still hasn't been able to go over and
See,
see
meet,
Alicia.
meet,
Yeah,
yeah.
meet Alicia. She still
Yeah.
hasn't.
She hasn't met her granddaughter.
No.
It's crazy, isn't it? Listen, guys, all of you, lovely family, it's been so nice to talk to you, catching up with you. Happy birthday, Suleika. Really, really happy birthday for next year as well. Sorry we missed it. Please give our best to your husband. Tell him that we insist he comes and talks to us at some point if he feels like it. It's not really strong insist.
Okay, we're going to go over to Russ and Sarah. If you need to unmute as well, please do.
Hi, I just wanted to explain really. Russ has come with me today. Russ and I met about 10 years ago when I worked for a charity for deaf people. And we became really, really good friends. And later on, I became a communicator guide for him and started working with him. Russ was born severely deaf and he has Usher's syndrome, which means that over the last sort of 40 years, he's gradually gone progressively blind as well.
Right.
He's a bit of a hero to me, if I'm honest. He is a grade 8 pianist. He plays the guitar, he writes songs, he can sing. He's qualified as a music therapist. He's just an incredibly positive and inspirational person. Russ has 2 cochlear implants. So he should hopefully be able to hear you perfectly fine, and he can respond obviously without any problem. He just won't be able to see you.
Yeah.
He's a big Star Trek and Doctor Who fan. And yeah, I sort of told him about my experience last week and thought he might enjoy it. So yeah. Have you managed to unmute yourself, Russ?
Hi, Sid. How are you?
I'm very good indeed, thank you. Very good indeed. So tell us, you started off life, if I understand, seeing perfectly normally. Is that correct?
Well, basically, I was born severely deaf. And the trouble was my parents realized there was a hearing problem, but the doctors didn't. Right. So this is back in the 60s. So yeah, I didn't get my first hearing aid till I was about 4.5, and then went to Woodford School for the Deaf in London.
Wow.
And I think Sarah may have sent somebody a picture or something with me as a deaf kid wearing this sort of bra-like thing with a body aid going to my ear. Yes, so some reason I'm in the lead there. I don't know why, but I must have been about 6, I suppose, something like that. Yeah, maybe 6 or something. And so I just grew up with hearing aids, and have been a hard of hearing kids, and then went to normal hearing school from the age of 7.
Wow. And what was that transition like?
It's fine because I've always grew up with hearing friends.
Right.
My contact with the deaf world was very small. It's only during that learning time, because I missed out on the first 4 years of learning, picking up speech and so on.
Yeah.
And I can remember my mother saying something to me that, when the Beatles were on Top of the Pops or something, and I had this imitation plastic guitar, and I was sort of, she loved you, yeah, and all this stuff. But it wasn't coming out, she loved you, yeah. It was very, very different because I wasn't able to hear, but it was very visual.
Of course.
We didn't have subtitles either. So
I'm astonished that you can even pick a note.
Well, I've had some sort of difficulty trying to learn to recognize my pitch, but it's something that's been in the family because my father was a professional singer for a few years.
Yeah.
And I suppose that part of it ran in the family. And so music's always been around. And then I learned to play piano, and then I did guitar and electronic organ and so on. And I started to write my own first songs when I was about 14.
And when did you start to get your, I can't remember what
cochlear implant.
That's it, cochlear implant. When did you get those?
Well, that wasn't until much later, but so I grew up with 2 hearing aids behind the ears. I mean, basically a cochlear implant looks like this, right? So I don't know if you can see that, but this is like a magnet.
See it tiny on the bottom of the screen. There you go.
Yeah, so it's like a magnet under here, which is like an ear mold. You know, a conventional hearing aid has this and the long thing going inside your ear.
Right.
So with me, I had to have this operation, the surgery, to have a magnet inside me. So if you can imagine, you know the film like 007 where Jaws is being drawn up to the magnet. So if you look up and you get magnet, it's going to fly up in the washing machine, you know. So you've got to be careful where you put your head or hold an umbrella, you know.
You don't want to go to a scrap yard where they're taking those cars get picked up by magnets.
Something like that, yeah. And the funny thing was when I first met my first girlfriend on a music cruise in way back in the 70s, you know, we were in the cinema and I thought I'd give her a kiss, you know, and of course I had my hearing aids on. So what happens? I have a beep, and all my friends said, "Russ, what are you doing?" I said, "Don't worry."
Busted, so busted. And how did you meet your lovely wife right there?
Well, that's a long story, but Rita is Finnish, and her name is Rita, and very clever. She's very clever. You can probably see her. She's given me sort of social haptic communication on my shoulder because I can't see you, so she's given me your face expression.
Oh, great.
So, I mean, we do have a website and so on, and if people are interested, they can view that later. But it's a communication that helps me to communicate, get the wide world, what's happening around me, environmental description, and so on.
And reading a room, you know, that's
right. Because I have this condition called Usher syndrome, which basically vision is tunnel vision, night blindness and deafness. It's a genetic thing, so you don't have any control of it. Diagnosed when I was 21. I have this visual impairment. I was driving the car, fine, you now I have to give up driving.
Right.
And then you're told by the time you're 50, you're going to go blind. And back in 2015, my vision went completely. So now I can't see a thing. It's all just light or dark. So, I mean, for example, you know, you miss out beautiful photographs, maybe sort of very nicely dressed up women from time to time. So that can have its own compensation sometimes. So the trouble is I have to use my hands.
But then you get
please don't get it wrong. Please don't get it wrong. But I have to use my hands all the time to feel where objects are and feel my way around. During this time, the Corona time, it's now non-touchable because, you know, it's much more difficult.
Of course.
So my whole world is tactile world.
How do you prepare yourself knowing that you're going to go blind at 50? How do you, you must go to sleep at night going, oh boy.
Sometimes you feel scared, especially when I'm on my own. I suppose because Rita flies to Finland, she works in Finland, so during this time, she's been here 6 months. So this is a long time we've been together one time.
What a lovely thing.
Yes, I mean, she's been great. But you know, sometimes we like our own space as well. It's kind of scary sometimes, but I suppose it's challenging. It challenges you. I mean, I won't pretend it's easy. It's not. You know, I mean, I've been through many life experiences. I've been through suicide twice, and I'm still here, and so on. And yeah, you do get depressed by it sometimes, but I try not to let it, because my training as a music therapist helped me to identify my own skills and identify me as an individual.
Absolutely. And did you pick up that and find you were talented at that particular music therapy, music, frankly, very early in life, or was that something that came later?
I mean, that was my second career, because my first career was in computers. I was a computer programmer, systems analyst, designing computer systems.
Before
So
anybody else?
Yeah, and I took early retirement at the age of 30. So I mean, when you're working for your career and suddenly bang, everything goes down the channel, it's kind of difficult, you know. Yeah.
Did you find yourself trying to remember what things looked like because you knew you would lose that ability later, so you could store it in a bank of memory somewhere in your brain?
Yes, very interesting point. Yes, I think you do, and I think I rely a lot on memories as well. It's the same as when I had my first implant, to readjust to the new sound, because the first sound in the implant sounds awful, like a whistling orchestra. It's a bit like from Star Wars, that R2, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I first heard Rita's voice on the telephone, because she was in Finland at the time, she just sounded like,
My goodness.
So yeah, it was very strange. And when you come to music, that's another thing, because sometimes you think you're hitting a pitch on a note, but it's not quite right, you know, and you have to work at it. So I had to relearn all the songs I remember from before and then re-sing.
And is it an issue of re-educating your brain to
it is,
to understand, to reinterpret these sounds, these whistles, into sounds that make sense?
It's not just, I mean, it's better now than it was before, but I mean, piano sounded very honky-tonky.
Yeah.
So for many years, I didn't play that at all, but I took up the guitar more and more and then dived into that more. So
wow.
Certain instruments sound clearer, but now everything's much clearer, thank God. Yeah.
My goodness. And is that a question of, is that an issue of technology or a re-education of yourself?
It's a combination of both, because when I had the second implant, I noticed I managed to get much more depth. Now, for example, if I take a song like You and I, which I just do, before the implant, I used to sound like this. You and I, walking happy together. So I used to sort of slide up.
Yeah.
Now I sort of, you and I, walking happy together. So I have much more sort of depth in that way.
Yeah.
So, and that's also on the website as well, if people are interested.
Where is the website? Have we written it down?
Yeah, sure. It's www.russpalmer.com.
It's been just such a pleasure meeting you, Russ, and seeing you again, Sarah and Rita. Please come back and sing a song for us, Russ.
Sure.
Will you?
I'll be happy to.
Yeah,
and I can do a song called Deafblind Blues, if you like.
Yeah.
If you like, whatever you like, we'd like.
Okay, we're going to meet Emily now.
Hi, Emily.
Hi, how are you?
I am very well indeed. Where are you? How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I live in a small town outside of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. How's the lift of lockdown going in Pennsylvania? Because I understand it's all lifting a little bit everywhere.
Well, everyone does what they want anyway around here, so.
Really?
I've been working from home since March, so I haven't really gone out and about much. Just mostly been here at home.
Oh my goodness. And what do you do?
I'm a social worker. I work with infants and toddlers with delays and disabilities.
Wow. So do you work with the judicial system, or do you work extrajudicially?
So we're a county program. We're a free program for all families. And usually we're in the home with people. So I'm used to going to like dozens of houses a week and seeing a lot of different people. So now everything is just by Zoom.
Yeah.
So,
and how's that been? How's it been for the kids? I mean, I guess the infants won't know one way or the other, but the oldest of the youngsters.
oh, it's definitely difficult. Kids do not want to look at a camera for a long period of time. So they're always running around, and it's always interesting. And I get a headache a lot because parents are running after their kids. And
and what's the nature of what you do? What's your, because obviously they've got disabilities. Are you a enabler, someone who gets them comfortable to the surroundings and you know, gives them a sense of expectation of how things are going to be and what they can achieve?
I meet families for the first time when they have a concern and they want some help. And then I get a child evaluated and we get them like physical, occupational speech therapy, nursing, things like that. And then I kind of help determine who's going to be going out and working with them and monitor the service.
Wow. So that's fantastic. And are you a private company or state? Did you say you were state?
Yes,
Or
yes, we are. Yes, we're a county
that's
program.
an amazing thing that Pennsylvania are doing for young kids.
Yes, our funds are being cut a lot because of COVID, unfortunately. But yes, I really enjoy my job. Very interesting. You meet a lot of very interesting people. It kind of makes you thankful for the little things, or just, that if your life is calm at this point in time, that's okay, and just be thankful for that.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say to someone who was thinking about doing this sort of work? What would you say is the best way in?
So you have to have a bachelor's degree at least to work in this field. I have a bachelor's in sociology, and in school my major actually was in juvenile delinquency. I wasn't expecting to work with infants, but you have to take like civil service tests through the state and everything, and it was a process. It took me about 7 months to be able to, from when I put the application in until I was hired. It took a while.
And what would you say the biggest misconception? So someone might be feeling, all I want to do is help people, which is wonderful. It doesn't matter whether they're infants or young kids or anybody really, but when are they going to be disappointed because they've been thinking about it the wrong way? The reality is harsher than the truth kind of advice. Because I know that a lot of people go, I just want to help, but don't realize just how hard it is.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You just think that you are going to be that person who is able to make that change. And sometimes just because of state regulations and, lawyers and things like that, you can always have a say in it, but just because you want it that way, it doesn't mean it's going to be that way. And you just have to kind of be there for the family, even though, it's not what you want, not what they want.
Yeah.
It can be very difficult, but there are also really amazing things. I have a lot of challenging families, but a lot of people who are extremely thankful to have us in their lives and are very sweet and nice. And they'll send me pictures of their kids saying, just thought, you could have a pick me up, so here's a funny picture. And that always makes my day.
And do you have to go and inspect houses and stuff? Because you have to report to the state, if the place is a mess or they're not feeding their children.
I used to, but since March, I'm not allowed to go into my office, into people's homes or anything. So I haven't done work outside of my home since the second week of March. So I haven't been able to see them in person.
And are there any kids you're really worried about, but because you can't see the house, you can't warn the judge or whoever it is, the lawyer, that there is a real problem in that house, so unfortunately I can't get in to see it?
Yes, definitely. I try to just have a lot of contact with people who I'm just worried about and make sure they don't, go too long without talking to anybody and things like that. So.
Well, you sound like a terrific person. I mean,
thank you.
We need people like you to keep this world turning over and give us perspective, because you get to a point where you become so cynical about how the world is, especially for some reason today, rather than the last 10 years, it's become a lot more stressful, the political scene and how we accommodate to it. So we end up just zoning it out. We're just not listening. We're not going to read. We're not going to watch the news. We're not going to find out anything, because everyone seems really mean. And it's just really lovely to meet you guys working away, making sure that, no one falls off the train. And if they do, you dust them off and put them back on again. But thank you. Thanks. Please come back anytime you want, Emily, and we'll talk a bit more about you rather than what you do, but what you're doing is so fascinating that
That's okay. I don't mind.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
All right, it was nice talking with you. Thank you, Mel.
Thanks.
Okay, we're going over to Rob Moriarty, and this is what reminded me, because Rob also has some photos to share.
Oh, Rob, brilliant. Welcome back, Rob Moriarty.
Evening, thank you.
How are you doing, pal?
I'm not too bad, thank you. Excellent after last weekend's great start for my birthday. Thank you all very much.
You're very welcome, my friend. You're very welcome. So you got some photos? You got some pics?
Yeah, they kind of come with a little bit of a story as well. So I kind of
That's
have to
what we want. We want the
explain them a
whole
little
package.
bit first. Which one have you got?
Wait a minute. What is that?
What, the hair or the jumper?
It's a human baby. It's a human baby. I recognize it now. It's smiling brightly at me.
Yeah, that's probably, I think, my favorite picture of me, which if ever there was a picture of me that would literally sum me up in just one snapshot, that is me.
It's fantastic.
I've always loved making people laugh, seeing the funny side in things, that kind of stuff, and that that photo really does kind of sum me up.
You do actually look like a young Ernie Wise. That's what you look like. Really young comedian.
I'm not quite sure how to take that one.
It's really good. It's a really nice thing. It would have to be a baby Ernie Wise.
Hopefully so, yes. And that one has a bit of a story behind it as well. When we spoke last, you asked me a question that kind of threw me off a little bit. It was one where you asked me about how long it took me to get used to having a disability.
Yeah.
Basically. And I think I kind of answered it when I said that it took me a couple of hours to accept what had happened.
Yeah.
Which was true. But I think the actual direct answer to that question is that I never have.
Right. Of course.
In my head, I don't actually think that I am disabled.
Right.
At all.
Right. That makes
yes, I use a wheelchair. Yes, I need people around me all the time and that kind of stuff. But by and large, I just want to be treated equally like everyone else, get on with life, go out and do things. It's a bit like Melora in that episode that you had in DS9.
I remember it well, absolutely.
Once she had her kind of, basic needs met, she just wanted to be kind of viewed equally like everyone else. And I've always been like that in my own head as well. So I've always kind of wanted to be treated equally on that kind of front. And the way I kind of dealt with it was actually something that Colin touched on in the quiz last weekend, was if you've got a lot of bad stuff going on in life, one of the ways of kind of getting through it mentally is to actually focus on positive things.
Yeah.
And despite everything that happened to me, so for anyone who wasn't in on the call last time I was on, which was months ago, I think, I was paralyzed from the neck down, on a ventilator, unable to move, breathe, feel, given a less than 5% chance of ever moving anything below the neck again. But I was still able to find a positive in that. And that was actually going back to that other photo, which was that I was still able to breathe and I could still make people laugh, even when I was on the ventilator.
Yeah,
so everything after that was, just bonus territory. And for about the first 18 months after the injury, I had very, very little movement at all. And anything that I did get back from my, and I would try and show my consultant if I had any slight movement, even down to something like, a little twitch in my thumb, he would just look at me and say, it's a trick movement. It's not you doing it at all. And I could never really understand what that was at all. And the movement literally was that tiny. I mean, if any of you want to imagine like twitching your thumb and your finger together, if you can actually feel the movement, but you can see it, then you've already got more movement than I had back then. It really was like tiny, tiny little movements.
And how many weeks after the accident was this?
Probably about 5 or 6 weeks. And it literally was a tiny little flicker in my thumb. And that probably went on for about the first 12, 18 months, something like that. But my consultant just ignored it, even if if he gave me a number and I would squeeze his hand that many times, he just wouldn't believe that it was me doing it at all. So I did get him very well. And I left hospital in May 1999, and I was set to go back to school in September. And for 3 months, I literally had absolutely nothing to do. So I got really bored at home. And one of my new PAs saw that I'd actually done a painting by numbers before my accident. And he said, do you fancy giving something like that a go? And I just looked at him and thought he was joking. And then he thought, no, I'll go out and buy one for you if you want. And so he did. And he came back with this. And so over the course of about 3 or 4 weeks, I had a go at doing this painting, finished it, and then I took it down to my consultant when I had my outpatient's appointment. And he literally looked at it, and I mean, I won't quite read out the script of what he said because there's quite a few swear words in it, but he looked at it and he said, someone else did this for you. No. And he went, what? And then he said, so you did it with the brush in your mouth? No. So you did it with the brush in your hand? I was like, yeah. He said, someone else must move the canvas around for you then. I went, no.
Wow.
it was about that point that, it suddenly dawned on him that I'd actually done this thing. And I started exercising another movement that I'd been practicing around them, which may or may not have involved extending one of my fingers, just to show him exactly what I thought. So when he eventually looked up at me and it kind of suddenly dawned on him that I had done this painting, he went, "Oh, wow." And so I said, "Yeah, so how's that for a trick movement?" And he looked up at me, looked down at my finger, looked up and burst out laughing.
Wow.
And so that's why this painting that I did, and I thought you'd like to see it because I know you're a massive cricket fan.
I'm a huge fan.
He suddenly completely changed with me. And so this is a painting that I've always had on my wall ever since, just to remind me of
fantastic.
kind of the artistic things that I've always done. Then actually being part of this group has actually reminded me of all of the kind of the arty things that I've done over the years.
And Rob Moriarty, are you still going to do more arty things?
I think I am going to get back into it. I think this group has kind of motivated me to do more stuff. So I've been doing my book for God knows how long, for about 3 or 4 years now. And it's taking ages because I'm literally typing it all on my phone.
Right. Oh, gosh.
I already know what the last line of the book's going to read. It's going to say "sent from my iPhone" brackets available. So that will be the last line. But I think I might have to do a trilogy at this rate because I'm at about 140,000 words and I'm only 5 years in. It's ridiculous. I think I will go back and I'll do some more art if I get time. The NHS is keeping me very busy, but I'll do that. And I've got far more into doing editing recently as well. Which is something that I did at university. I've done a few videos for my mum. She does Qigong, and I've been doing things for her. So she's actually got a little business going with that now. And I really want to do more things like that. So getting quite creative.
Well, I'm sure we'll give you some editing to do.
I've made the offer to Mel that if she wants any thing that I will more than happy.
We probably need all the help we can get because we sometimes get inundated. Good. Done. Sorted out, Rob Moriarty. Fixed that one.
I will happily do that. I love doing that kind of stuff.
Good.
Well, we've got plenty of work for you, so the book's gonna have to wait.
It's great. I love that stuff.
What's your name, young person? Yeah, I know.
Just ate a goldfish cracker. This is Miriam.
Hi, Miriam.
This is my youngest of 13 nieces and nephews.
You're actually proving a point we've already made today about the interaction against a Zoom for young children. Pretty difficult.
She's used to watching things and not interacting, so that's what's going on here.
This is some of the best watching a 3-year-old can possibly have. I can't think of anything that made me more giddy with excitement than watching these old people talk to each other.
Miriam, this is like when you call me on mommy's phone with the video. It is. This is my friend Sid.
Hi Miriam. Good to see you. Enjoy the goldfish. We'll be back later.
She just woke up from her nap. Yeah.
Of course.
So.
There was a couple of things I wanted to ask you, Rob, but I just completely got sidetracked. Are you a cricket fan?
Massive.
What sort of cricket do you like best? Is there a favourite kind of cricket?
Test cricket.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely.
I call the others. I call them pajama cricket.
Yeah, I'm a massive fan of what most people on this site will not know what cricket is, and you know what? Even if we told them, they still wouldn't want to know. My wife thinks that cricket is one of the most boring sports in the world. It's the only sport where you can play for 5 days and draw, and that's an achievement.
But then I feel the same about baseball. I just don't get it.
I don't watch baseball, I have to say. And I did go to a live game once at the Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. I think it's called the Dodger Stadium, where you have the Dodger dog. And I was kind of more interested in the Dodger dog than I was in the baseball. But it's much more family-friendly, baseball. There's a lot of breaks, a lot of singing for kind of children's songs. There's a kind of that sort of, here we go to I can't remember the song, baseball park or something. I don't know. There's a song and everyone sings it and it's all very quaint. But cricket, we're going to have to explain to everybody cricket one day as a kind of comedy sketch, I think.
That could easily take a full 2 hours. I don't think most players know all of the rules. It's a bit like rugby, you know, that even the refs have like different interpretations of things going on. Certainly my teachers at school, they had completely different interpretations to the laws.
So I've got a plan. I've already decided what we should do. One day, somewhere in the future, but you're going to have to do all the legwork. And that is, let's get a 10-minute interactive cricket game, and we will tell people what everything is, what a city short leg is, and and we'll just do a video voiceover edited by you of a game of cricket, so everyone understands.
Okay, I'll let you explain Cow Corner then.
Oh yeah, okay. All right, Rob Moriarty. It's been a real pleasure talking to you again. You're just such a breath of fresh air, and you bring a smile to everyone's faces, as you said you would. FAB, as they say, and over and out.
Excellent. Catch you again soon.
So we're going to go to Shannon.
Hello, how are you?
Hello there. Very good indeed, thank you. Thanks for your patience for waiting today.
It's all right.
Where are you, Shannon?
I am in Melbourne, well, near Melbourne, in Australia.
Oh, another Melbourneian.
Yes.
Fantastic. There's quite a posse. Have you hooked up with any of the others?
I have actually.
Good. That's what we like to hear. So what's going on in Melbourne? What's happening? What's the vibe?
Oh, well, basically we're kind of quarantined from the rest of the country, so that's really quite fun. But
oh no, is that because Melbourne's had a spike, or the rest of the country?
Yes, we sort of, the whole country was going pretty well, and then all of a sudden Victoria just spiked, and then basically every state just went no, and so they cut off all the borders. You can't go interstate, and then
oh my goodness,
yeah, it was quite funny. It's just everyone's just like, yeah, you can't travel interstate without a permit. If you are in Melbourne City, you can't leave Melbourne City. There are police and military barricades around the entire city. It is like tomorrow when the war began.
So how does that make you feel? I mean, were you at work and you had to stop?
Well, yeah, because I'm a Taekwondo instructor, so as you can imagine, that went down very well.
Yeah. Were you back at work before this second lockdown, or had you never really gone back to work because no one's going to do? Was anyone doing Taekwondo?
We were half back at work, so
Right.
We didn't have any of the kids or the students in the building, but we were doing live stream classes from one of the centres. So I was able to drive down from home, just about an hour away, down to Melbourne, help out with that, come home. But yeah, then I woke up one day and they're like, okay, tomorrow we are closing Melbourne off to the rest of the state. If you are not from Melbourne, leave. And I was just like, guess I'm leaving. Okay.
Oh my goodness. Oh
yeah.
Wow. And how about your friends and your social life, that world? Is that somehow evolving, given that you know about Zoom and all these other things, or is it actually not really work friendship over there? It doesn't work.
Yeah, it's just been very, very strange, very, very different. You have to adapt to so much new stuff. Like I'm in my first year of university, so I have to do that online.
Wow.
And I don't know anyone from the university, so that's...
No, and you're going to be a second year student and still you've missed your social year.
Yeah, I know. The sort of foundational year when you're meant to set everything up. Yeah, no, that's gone.
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry, Shannon. That's just awful. And Taekwondo, do you have a group of people that you can teach online? Because the forms must be possible to sort of vaguely do, although you can't adjust people.
We've been teaching classes from our homes. So we have all the instructors have this allocated room where we teach our kids. So I'm still teaching the same kids that I've been teaching for 3 years. Yesterday, we had some of the kids go for their black belt grading. So some that I've had since they were very young and they just started, got their black belt yesterday. from their couch, which was very strange. It was not how I imagined them getting it, but they did.
No, that's funny. And how do you qualify to be a taekwondo teacher? What kind of level do you have to be to be an instructor?
Technically, you have to be a 3rd Dan black belt to be allowed to teach. But look,
there you are. Oh my goodness. You look fierce and adorable at the same time.
That was about 12 years ago. Yeah, that was my first ever grading. And funnily enough, almost exactly 10 years after that photo was taken, I went to my first World Championships in Taipei.
Shannon, get out of the front door. That's amazing. Okay. So you obviously are an instructor. I was trying to figure out what kind of belt you were. And you were going to say, well, I needed to get to brown belt before I could instruct infants. And then I needed to get to red belt, whatever. But I don't know what the belts are, to be honest. But I know there's like double blacks and some other things.
Yes, I'm a 4th Dan. And I got my 4th Dan in quarantine. So that was quite funny. I was the first lot of quarantine gradings, and I was like, okay, yeah,
congratulations,
cool.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And how do you keep do you just, because you normally meet up with other people and you test each other, keep each other fit, to keep each other honed, if it were, as you were, you don't always do that alone, do you? Or because normally in my head, at least, when you're as expert as you are, you get together with other experts and you go through routines and figure out how to get better. Is that okay doing that alone? Do you have a studio where you can do that? Oh my goodness, there you are again.
That was my black belt grading, and
wow,
I'm
and you look
so
like
happy to be there.
Only a few years older than you were when you first had that like warrior look into the camera.
Yeah, I think I was 11 in that photo. 11 or 12. I'm not exactly sure.
That's amazing.
Still quite young.
But you must have been by far and away the most talented person in the room. I mean, people must have been going, well, that youngster is special.
I think, honestly, I was just the most aggressive in the room. I was just the most aggressive by far. And so they're like, okay,
the young person
do something with that, please.
The young person to your left with the red belt is like, I don't want to be here anymore. This person beat me up twice yesterday. And it was like,
I did actually. I had to spar him for my grading.
That's really cool. Wow.
And yeah, that was the first gold medal that I won, and so I was pretty proud of that one. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it's just, I know, I'm amazed that someone of such a young age can become such an expert, because there's clearly not 10,000 hours yet in your life to spend on anything like this. And you've accelerated so quickly to get to a point where you can win a gold medal in a regional or a competition or a national competition is astonishing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it feels like it's been. Oh gosh, I forgot I said that one. That was at my first national championships, where I lost the gold medal by 0.01 of a point. And I remember that constantly, and it constantly sits in the back of my mind, no matter how
So you're
long
not happy with silver at all?
I was so upset. I remember looking at the scores, because I do forms, and forms, Pumse and forms is very, very negative. You start with 10 points, and then you get a deduction for every mistake you make. So when you win, it's not even, oh, you're the best, it's you're the least bad. So I remember 0.01, just seeing that on the board, and I was just like, ah!
I don't think that's fair. I think 0.01, I mean, if you're sprinting and you can be tracked by camera, but when you're being judged by the human eye, I don't see how that's even possible. I mean, I think someone might have just literally scratched their bottom for a second, and that would have meant they missed the very tiny thing they needed to see to give you a perfect score.
I do remember that the thing that made me lose was my hands had to be like this for the pattern, and they were like this. And so that cost it
Oh
for
my
me.
goodness.
I do remember. I remember very well.
Oh,
and I will never make that mistake again because I remember.
These are great photos. I mean, they really are. Do you have video of you doing the World Championships?
Oh, I think I have one of the World Championships. I've definitely got some of me doing like board breaking. There's this one I really love. I had like 5 boards stacked on top of each other, and I had just gone from having a massive panic attack beforehand because I'm like, I'm not going to be able to break it. I'm going to break my hand and all this stuff. And then I just broke it, and I was just like,
oh my goodness. Can you, if you're back, if you feel like coming back at any point, would you, and you have the time to source any of these like gems? Because I'm sure we'd love to see. I'm sure, and especially narrated by you.
It'll just be a lot of me just going, my hand was wrong there. Okay.
I know. Well, you can do that. You can do that. We won't. We were like, that seems fine to me. Well, maybe not. Okay, good. That's a deal. I think that's absolutely what we should do.
Okay, I will find some stuff.
Take your
and
time.
I'll bring that.
There is no rush. I know during these times, sourcing little bits of video and stuff, it could be hard. Thank you, Shannon. Lovely, lovely to get all that info. And thank you for showing us those photos. Well, thank you. I'm sure Mel isn't here. She's probably...
I'm here.
Oh, you're there. Hi. Ah, there you are. Now you've got your...
Yeah, and we built a big wiggly worm, but it's fine.
A big wriggly worm. And it's fine. It was fine. It's no longer fine.
It's falling now.
Okay. Well, hey, worms.
She's been working on this for everybody for about 10 minutes. So
That's
yeah,
really amazing.